Good day, everybody. Today we've got Green Day, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Really cool tune this, great for beginners. In fact, a couple of my private students are learning this at the moment, so this is for you guys. It's for that lovely bit of homework while you're away from the lesson. Yeah, not too much to say about this one. We've got Tré Cool on drums. A lot of the Green Day stuff is fairly simple in its essence. The only difficulty you often find is just the speed of like the punk rock drumming side of it. But we've got none of that to worry about in this song, so without further ado, let's crack on. Right then, Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. Let's get on it. JewGrooves.com. You will find a full transcription of this song, free to download, so please visit there. I'll be using that transcription throughout this video so you can follow along. Couple of things about technique with this song, as I'm assuming most of the people watching this are going to be beginners. We've got a rock song here, so we're looking at having our heels up and we can generate a load of power from that using the weight of our leg coming down on the pedal. When you've got your heel down, we're just using our foot to flick like that. In fact, you can see it up there. You can still get power from this, but it's not so easy. So we're going to have our heel up, not necessarily to have all the heel up, the heel all the way up. We just want it off the ground so that we can have some room to push it up and slam it down. Just going to look like that. With your hi-hats, if your hi-hats are closed and you're just playing with the stick, as a lot of the song is, certainly in the verses anyway, we want a heel up on the foot. The reason for this is that this will stay nice and tight, and there's no reason to put any extra force to push down on it. You haven't got to kind of hold it closed with your foot. Just lift your heel and then everything else will stay relaxed. That'll give us some nice solid shots. Onto the song. Nothing to do for the intro, so we're going to stay silent for 4 bars, and then we've got verse 1. 2 bars of silence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to come in with our first beat, and this beat is going to go like this. So a real basic beat, but let's break it down. We're going to have 8th notes on the hi-hat, and that's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the snare drum is going to be on 2 and 4 of that bar. So we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now if you're new to drums, I imagine the first beat you're taught would have been 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go to that bit next. We're going to have the kick on the 1 and the 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're just going to add another kick drum on the and of 3. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and kick, 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 snare. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Learn this drum beat because it's going to happen a lot in this song. The only variation we've got of that in the first verse is a crash on beat 1. So all we're doing for this is we're moving our right hand here. Well, we're not actually moving it, we're going to start off there. So we're going to start up here on 1 and 2. And then you're into the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. No more crashes throughout, so we're just going to keep this beat going for, well, the entire verse. I'll see how many bars. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 11 bars. And the 12th bar, going into the chorus, we've got something a little bit different. I'm going to cover that now. So here's the transition. 1 and is going to be exactly the same as the rest of the beat when we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just going to go 1 and. Beat 2, we're going to drop our heel of our left leg, causing the hi-hats to open, okay? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Okay? While we're doing that, we're going to hit the snare drum with our left hand. So we're going to go 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. On beat 3, we're going to have 2 crash cymbals with a kick drum underneath. So if you've got multiple crashes, feel free to use them in any combination of hand strokes. The left one always feels weird. sorry. 1 and 2, 3 and. Now with the counting, while I'm only saying 1 and 2, 3 and, the and of 2 still exists. That time is still there. We're just not saying it. So if I were to say it, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and. Which brings us on to the quarter note of 4, which is going to be 4E and. So we've got 16th notes there. If I'm going to play that whole bar just to see it in context, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and. So right, left, quick single strokes, 4, E and and we're going to have a kick drum under the 4 and the and. 4, E and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, E and. So that kick drum from beat 3 is going to be going 3 and 4 and, 3 and 4 and. Okay, cool. Which brings us on to chorus number 1. The chorus is similar to the verse. We're going to move the right hand over to the crash cymbal to change the dynamic entirely. But we've still got 8th notes going on. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Still got our snare drums on the 2 and 4 predominantly. And we're just going to add a whole bunch of more kick drums. There is a slight variation on the snare drum a little bit later, which I will discuss. I'll just demonstrate that chorus for you. It's 8 bars long. It's going to go like this. Let's break it down. So, first 2 bars, we're adding some more kick drums, as I said. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So where we had our verse beat of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, where we had a kick on the 1 and a kick on the 3 and the and, we've now got a kick on the 1 and 3 and. So it's just doubling up that kick every time. 1 and 2, without the crash cymbal, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. When we get to the second bar, we're going to put I'm not sure why I'm putting it that way because you can't see that screen. When you get to the second bar on your sheet, and of 4, you're going to have a kick drum added. So you're going to have a set of 3 going into bar 3. So you're going to go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2. So from the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's the third bar, same as the first. The fourth bar, probably, one of the more complicated concepts in this song, snare drum independence, where the snare drum is going to be put in between whatever your right hand or your kick drum is playing. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the bar is predominantly the same as bar 2. We've still got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But we're going to slot a snare drum in between the and of 2 and 3. So we got 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Right, left, right. 1 and 2, right, left, right. So that snare drum needs to be exactly in the middle of those 2 right hands over there. If you move it to the sides at all, you're going to get like a triplet swing, which is quite common when beginners first learn these drum beats, these kinds of drum beats. So please avoid that. You're going to avoid going, if we do it on the hi-hat for clarity, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's exaggerated, but we do get... I do hear that quite often. So we want it in the middle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That'll be on the of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's bar 4. Back round to bar 5, exactly the same as bar 1. It's got the double kicks again. Bar 6 is the same as bar 4. So we've got that snare drum independence again on this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We've then got bar 7, which is the same as bar 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Which brings us to the final bar. We've got a nice build with the kick, snare and crash. 1 and 2 and 3. So that's all of them together. You're looking for unison on this. We don't want or any flamming, which is when one comes just before the other. A useful rudiment if you're not aware of flams, but this is not where we want them. All of them down together. Will take a little bit of practice, but well worth doing. And then we got this fill at the end. We've got a drag, which is 2 notes. You can either achieve this if you've got the technique to be able to throw with your wrist and then pop with your fingers, do that. If not, practice throwing the stick down and then stopping it after 2 strokes. And gradually bring more of it. It's a bit of a cheat way to do it, but it will get you there. If you can't do that, buzz drags. Part of a buzz roll, but you just kind of dig it in. Again, it will work. Don't let kind of a lack of technique in this while being able to play a song, because it's the only time that this is done in the whole tune. If you're struggling with any of those, you can just play another note. But I'm going to explain this properly with the drag. So from beat 4, because a drag is an accidental, sorry, not an accidental, it's either acciaccatura or appoggiatura, which is a fancy way of saying grace note. I can't remember which one it is. We've got 2 of them. 4, E, and. It's going to go into 4, E, and. So coming out of the build on the crash, kick and snare, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, E, and. As I was saying, because it's a grace note, I think I got sidetracked. It happened occasionally. Because it's a grace note, it doesn't have any time value, so it's not on an and or an R or an E or a number or whatever. It goes into beat 4, 4, which is the right hand. 4 E and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Which is going to bring us into what I've called the tag 1, which is just a tag at the end of the chorus before going back into the verse. So, tag 1. Tag 1 is exactly the same as the beginning of the tune. It's the first 4 bars that you hear drums in. So we're going to start with a crash, and we're going to be playing the verse 1 drum beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We see that all the way to the end of the 4 bars, and then we go straight into verse 2. No crash cymbal. We're already into our drum beat, so it's just Billy Joe's going to start singing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Verse 2, exactly the same as verse 1. There's no surprises there. We're going to get to the end of verse 2, and we're going to play that same transitional bar as we did in verse 1. So if you skip to this part, check back at verse 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Which brings us into chorus 2. Chorus 2 has exactly the same components as the first chorus. However, they've been kind of shuffled around a little bit. So basically, like kind of bar 4 became bar 3. And in fact, that's about it, apart from the ending. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that was bar 3. Snare drum independence bit in bar 3 this time rather than bar 4. That was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bar 5, same as bar 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Moving into another snare drum independence bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 7th bar, same as bar 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to build up again, but we're going to forget the fill at the end. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and then choke the cymbal. So when you're choking the cymbal, thumb on top, fingers underneath, and you need to be able to do it with the stick in your hand. You can't be putting the stick down when you're choking cymbals. It ain't going to work. 1 and 2 and 3. So when I do this, I sort of move the stick back into my hand. So it's kind of like a, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a full grip of the stick. I bring these out here so that I have space between my fingers to put the cymbal. and I'm just squeezing on the edge. On electric kits, you need to squeeze the very edge of the cymbal to get this choke. On actual cymbals, you just need to deaden the vibrations, so they're a little bit less forgiving in that sense, but a little bit more unforgiving in the sense that they're real cymbals and metal and all the rest of it. If you've got any breaks on your cymbals, be careful, because any jagged edges and anything could go horribly wrong, as it has done for me once or twice. Not pleasant. So, where were we? That's right, so we just choked at the end of that chorus. 1 and 2 and 3. Brings us into tag 2, just at the end of the chorus again. We're going back into our verse beat, starting with a crash. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to play that for 3 bars. Obviously just a crash on beat on bar 1. And then we are going to go to the 4th bar, which is the last bar of every verse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that's going to bring us into our nice little guitar break. Not really what I would call a solo. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was as creative as a solo. It's more of a break. It's kind of mimicking the melodies in the song. We're back into a very kind of chorusy drum beat. First bar is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. In the second bar, all the same as the chorus. Boom, boom, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and another one. Right, so bar 3, we've got the snare independence in a different part of the bar. It's exactly the same deal. We're just putting it after the and of 4, so on the We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1. Into the next bar, bar 4 of the guitar break. 4th bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we got a flam, which is a grace note and a loud note, where one hits the drum just before the other. Do not sneak the loud note in before the quiet note, like that. We want that. So this one's hitting first, this one's hitting second, as they should do because of their respective distances. So that's going to be on beat 4. We're going to go 4 and, which is going to bring us into this floor tom section. So that whole first line of the guitar break, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, next section, we've got, still in the guitar break rather, but we've got 2 floor tom smashes, technical term. 1 and. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to play the floor tom and hopefully a second floor tom if you've got it, with a kick drum all in unison. 1 and. If you haven't got 2 floor toms, I suggest you get them. It's a lot of fun. Something very, what's the word? There's something very... I can't think of the word. I'm just going to say awesome, but I can't think of... There's a better word for it. There's something very awesome about hitting these 2 down here. I think I once saw Dominic Howard doing this in Muse for, I want to say Citizens Erased maybe, like live. I saw him just like pounding away on these 2 drums. It looked awesome. And when you do it, it feels great as well. There we go. It's something that feels great. Better than awesome. Anyway, if you haven't got those 2 toms, you can use those 2. You can also just use 1 if you want to keep that kind of low tonality, but if I was on a 4-piece kit playing this song, I'd hit those 2. So, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to go back into essentially bar 4 of this guitar break with a snare drum independence bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So yeah, again, flam 4, kick on the and, which goes back into the tom bits. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. On the and of 4, we're going to hit a snare and a crash cymbal. Right, my camera just cut out. So yeah, doing that again. Love it when it does that. I'm going to go from the guitar break of the second line, and hopefully this is alright when I edit it, and it did pick up the last bit. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're on that bit. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and snare and a crash cymbal together, which brings us into a bar of lots of kicks under the crashes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So wherever there isn't a snare, there's going to be a kick drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to do that build that we get at the end of the choruses. 1 and 2 and 3 with a choke. Okay? Which brings us into verse 3. Really short verse, it's just 4 bars, kind of like just like a relaxing bit before we kick back in. So listen to the track. I've often thought he was doing, the end of bar 4 we're going to have 3 shots on the floor toms. But I don't think it does that. This is what I thought it was originally. But I saw him doing it live, and I like this because it kind of feels very, very primal. A bit kind of like a Neanderthal playing drums, which again feels awesome. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, you'll need 3 drums to be able to utilise that properly. But it's just and 4 and. All with kick drums, just going down the tonalities of your drums. If you haven't got 3 drums, you can go and 4 and, or even and 4 and 4 and 4 and. It's just got to be 3 shots with a kick drum and some toms, basically. Avoid just doing it all on the high tom though, because, well, if it's all you got, do it. But it's not going to sound as good as the floor toms. We need something meaty for this. And 4 and. Sorry, and 4 and. One of them. Which is going to bring us into chorus number 3. Okay, so we've got some additional snare drum independence bits. It's all the same style, just more bars with them in. So bar 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, same as the rest. Bar 2, we've got some snare drum independence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Third bar, same as the first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then fourth bar, we've got another snare drum independence bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Fifth bar, same as the first one and the third one. Another snare drum independence for the 6th bar. And then kind of the same kick pattern as the snare drum independence bar without the snare drum independence, if that makes any sense. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we've got our build. Our build lasts 2 bars. It's going to be on floor tom, snare drum, kick drum. And they're all going to come in unison, 8th notes throughout the 2 bars. So they're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you can, make these get louder. Gradually make these get louder as you play them through, so it builds a crescendo into the final part of the song. That being said, don't start off too quietly because you're already at a great volume anyway, and Tré Cool isn't necessarily known for playing quietly. Excuse me, he's a hard hitter. So when we come out of that chorus, it's not so easy to do on electronic kit because it's electronic, but what I would recommend is starting the first bar of these 8th notes at a loud volume and then get them much louder as you can in the 2nd bar. So you're really hitting it towards the end of this. Which is going to bring us into the outro of the song. The outro of the song contains 1 drum beat, and it is this. Played over and over again through the chord progression. Now, when Tré Cool does this, he's hitting around lots of different cymbals. He's got the options of having, he's probably got maybe 4 or 5 cymbals on his kit. So he's splashing around all different kinds of cymbals as he's playing. He's just creating noise, and this is exactly what we want at the end of the tune. So as long as you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, feel free to hit whatever cymbals you like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. You get the idea. If you don't want to be moving around too much, because it does add a bit more complexity, stay on the 1 crash cymbal and ride it out. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and so on and so forth, until we get to the last bar of the song, which is 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12th bar, where we're going to hit 1 and 2 and right at the end to end the song off. Okay, so coming out of the drum beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and that brings us to the end of the song. Like I said at the beginning, really good song for beginners. A couple of my private students are also going through this at the moment, so I hope this helps out, guys. Just remember, full transcription at dukegrooves.com, and all the stuff in the description if you want to start skipping back through parts and all that kind of thing. Comments and questions below, I'm happy to help out where I can. If you've got any requests for new songs, put them in there as well. I'm always looking for new ideas, although I've got some coming up anyway. And yeah, cool. Happy drumming. See you soon.